The stars shone brightly above Earth, but the light hid a tense silence that stretched across the human colonies. Daesu, a young but determined commander, stood on the bridge of the newest human warship, the Iron Horizon. His eyes scanned the countless dots of light representing distant planets and enemy fleets far away. Humans had been hiding, recovering from years of losses, building a fleet in secret. The galaxy's strongest empire, the Zereth Dominion, believed humanity was weak, broken, and defeated. They were wrong. Daesu turned to his second-in-command, a sharp and clever woman named Hygiene. She had joined the fleet straight from the academy, but her quick thinking had saved more ships than anyone else. Hygiene, how soon can we reach the colony on Mirius? He asked. The colony was one of the last human outposts still under threat from Dominion scouts. Less than 12 hours, sir, Hygiene replied, her voice calm. Our fleet is fully operational, and the attack drones are ready. The humans on the bridge felt a wave of quiet pride. They had worked for years to prepare for this moment. Every ship had been repaired, every weapon tested, every crew member trained. Unlike the Zereth Dominion, which relied on sheer power and fear, humans relied on creativity, teamwork, and courage. Elsewhere, on the bridge of a massive Zereth warship, Admiral Rock stared at his monitors in disbelief. The human colonies had begun to show signs of activity. For decades, they had ignored humanity, assuming they would never rise again. Now, reports came in that human scouts were moving faster, building defenses, and even striking minor supply lines. Rock's sharp features tightened. These humans, they are not finished yet, he muttered to himself. They are preparing for something. Back on the Iron Horizon, Daesu gathered the fleet commanders. Among them were Minsu, a veteran pilot known for his daring attacks, G1, a communications expert who could hack enemy systems faster than anyone, and Sumin, a young engineer who had helped design many of the fleet's newest ships. This is our chance, Daesu began. For too long we have hidden. For too long the Zereth Dominion has thought of us as weak. Now we show them the strength of humanity. The commanders nodded, a mixture of fear and excitement in their eyes. None of them had faced the full power of the Zereth Dominion before. They only had stories from older generations, stories of entire planets destroyed and fleets wiped out. But now, armed with knowledge, cunning, and unbreakable will, they were ready to strike back. Hours later, as the fleet approached Mirius, scouts detected a Dominion patrol moving toward the colony. Daesu did not hesitate. Prepare the attack drones. We will strike swiftly and disappear before they can respond, he ordered. Hygiene coordinated the deployment, her fingers flying over the control panel. The drones, small but fast, zipped toward the Dominion ships, disabling their communications and shields with precise strikes. The Dominion patrol was caught off guard. Their massive warships were powerful but slow and predictable. The humans exploited every weakness. Minsu led a squadron of fighters to harass the enemy, drawing their attention while the drones disrupted their systems. G1 intercepted their communications, sending false messages to confuse them further. Sumin remotely controlled repairs on the Iron Horizon, ensuring the ship stayed ahead of the Dominion's attacks. After a tense hour, the patrol was neutralized. The humans had taken no significant losses. Daesu allowed himself a small smile. It was a victory, but only the first step. The Zereth Dominion had many fleets, many planets, and countless warships. This was only the beginning. In the human colony on Mirius, citizens watched the sky anxiously. Children clung to their parents, and workers prepared emergency defenses, unsure if help would arrive in time. Suddenly, the horizon glowed as human warships appeared, their sleek forms unlike anything the Dominion had ever built. Daesu's voice came over the colony's communications network. People of Mirius, your defenders have arrived. Stay calm and follow our instructions. We are here to protect you. Tears and relief swept through the colony. For the first time in decades, they felt hope. The humans were no longer the hunted. They were the hunters. Meanwhile, Admiral Rock received reports of the failed patrol. Anger and fear mixed in his chest. The humans were clever, too clever. He summoned his council of commanders. Among them were Kyung-ho, a ruthless strategist, Eun-ji, a master of fleet logistics, and Hyun-soo, a young but ambitious officer known for his loyalty to the Dominion. These humans have grown strong, Rock said. We must strike harder. Crush them before they grow bolder. Kyung-ho sneered. They are only one fleet. We have thousands more. It will take little to destroy them. But Eun-ji shook her head. We underestimated them. Their technology and tactics are evolving. If we are not careful, they will find weaknesses in our empire we never imagined. Back in human space, Dae-soo held a meeting with Hyejin, Min-soo, Ji-won, and Soo-min. We need to think beyond attack and defense, he said. The Dominion expects us to react, but we will act. We will strike where they are weak, where they do not expect. Every ship, every colony, every plan counts. The team worked tirelessly, analyzing Dominion movements, predicting supply routes, and preparing their fleet for a larger engagement. Every member of the fleet had a role, and every human had a purpose. This was not just war. It was survival, honor, and proof that humanity would never bow again. One night, as the Iron Horizon drifted near a distant asteroid field, Dae-soo walked alone on the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly, a reminder of how small humans were in the galaxy. Yet, he felt the weight of responsibility and the spark of determination. They were small but clever. They were weak but resilient. And they were ready to strike back. Hyejin joined him quietly, looking at the horizon. Do you think we can really defeat them? She asked softly. Dae-soo looked at her and smiled. We will not just fight. We will survive. We will make them see humanity is not to be underestimated. This is only the beginning. As humans prepared their next moves, the Zirith Dominion grew more watchful, sending spies and scouts to track every fleet. The galaxy's strongest empire believed it was untouchable. Little did they know humanity had learned, grown, and prepared in secret. The coming days would change the fate of countless worlds, and the first sparks of human resistance were already lighting the galaxy on fire. In the coming hours, the fleet would move closer to the Dominion's inner defenses. Every pilot, every engineer, every soldier knew the risks, but in their hearts, they carried the hope of humanity. The hope that Earth, and all human colonies, could rise from the ashes of fear. They were ready to show the galaxy that humans were not just survivors. They were warriors capable of facing the strongest empire and winning. And so, as the first human warships glided silently through space toward the enemy, a new chapter of history began. A chapter written not with fear, but with courage. Not with surrender, but with resistance. The galaxy had not yet seen the true strength of humanity, and the Dominion would soon learn a lesson it would never forget. The human fleet moved silently through space, shadows against the stars, preparing for the next phase of their plan. Dae-soo stood on the bridge of the Iron Horizon, watching the fleet's movements on the display. The fleet was growing, more ships joining from different colonies, each crew trained and ready. Humanity had waited for this moment for decades, and now it was time to show the galaxy what they could do. Hyejin moved beside him, pointing at the holographic map. The Zirith Dominion patrols are stronger near the outer colonies, but there is a weakness in their supply line, she said. If we strike there, we can disrupt their entire network. Dae-soo nodded. Then we will hit them fast and disappear before they can respond. Min-soo, Ji-won, Soo-min, gather your teams. We move in 10 minutes. Min-soo grinned as he prepared his fighters. He was fearless, known for daring maneuvers and precision attacks. Ji-won double-checked the communication systems, ready to hack into enemy signals if needed. Soo-min monitored the fleet's shields and engines, making sure every ship was in peak condition. Together, they formed the heart of the human strike team. As the fleet moved into position, scouts detected the Dominion's supply convoy approaching. The convoy was massive, carrying resources, fuel, and reinforcements for their fleets. It seemed heavily defended, but the humans had studied its movements. They knew its patterns, its speed, its weak points. Daesu took a deep breath. Prepare the attack. Remember, we hit quickly, take only what we need, and vanish before they can organize. This is a test, not just of firepower, but of skill. The humans launched their strike with precision. Fighters darted through the void, weaving between the convoy ships. Drones disabled shields and communications, leaving the Dominion vessels vulnerable. Minsu led the charge, targeting the engines and weapon systems with pinpoint accuracy. G1 sent false commands through the Dominion communication channels, confusing the enemy and causing them to fire on each other. Sumin worked tirelessly to keep the fleet in formation, repairing minor damages and boosting shields at critical moments. The battle was swift but intense. The humans were outnumbered, but they used clever tactics and teamwork. Each strike was planned, each movement coordinated. After hours of combat, the supply convoy was destroyed or captured, and the human fleet suffered minimal losses. Daesu allowed himself a small nod of satisfaction. This victory was a message to the Dominion. Humanity was back and not to be underestimated. In a hidden observation post on Mirius, civilians watched the engagement unfold through long-range sensors. They cheered silently, unable to express themselves too openly. Generations had grown up under the shadow of fear, and now hope burned bright in their hearts. The humans were not only defending their colonies but also proving they could fight back, even against the strongest empire in the galaxy. Admiral Rock on the Dominion side was furious. His monitors displayed the loss of the convoy, and he slammed his fists on the control panel. These humans grow bold. How can a fleet so small disrupt our operations? His commanders tried to calm him, but the truth was clear. Humanity had evolved. They were clever, unpredictable, and dangerous. Kyung-ho, his strategist, spoke cautiously. They are learning. They anticipate our moves and adapt quickly. If we continue to underestimate them, the damage will grow. Unji, the logistics master, frowned. We must reinforce the convoys, reroute resources, and hunt their fleet down. But even then, they may find another weakness to exploit. The humans, meanwhile, did not rest. Daesu gathered his team in the strategy room, a dimly lit chamber filled with screens and star charts. This is not the end. The Dominion will come after us harder now. We need to prepare for more than attacks. We need to strike at the heart of their operations. Every colony, every ship, every soldier matters. The team worked through the night. Hygiene calculated new attack routes, finding ways to avoid detection and maximize impact. Minsu trained pilots for maneuvers that no Dominion ship could anticipate. G1 developed new hacking protocols to interfere with enemy communication and targeting systems. Sumin reinforced the fleet's technology, making small improvements that would give humans an edge in the coming battles. On a remote planet used as a human staging ground, engineers and scientists worked tirelessly. Ships were repaired and upgraded, weapons calibrated, and drones programmed with advanced AI routines. Civilians volunteered, providing support, supplies, and encouragement. The human colonies were united in purpose, bound together by the knowledge that survival depended on courage, skill, and solidarity. As the human fleet moved closer to the Dominion's inner territories, tension grew. Scouts reported enemy patrols increasing, and Daesu knew that the Dominion would not wait long before striking back. The humans had to stay one step ahead, using every advantage they had. Late one night, Daesu walked along the observation deck of the Iron Horizon. The stars stretched infinitely in all directions, a constant reminder of the vastness of the galaxy. He thought of the sacrifices humans had made, of the colonies that had been lost, and of the families who still lived in fear. He also thought of the strength humans carried within them, their ability to adapt, to fight, and to endure. Hygiene joined him quietly. "Do you think the Dominion will ever understand what we are capable of?" she asked. Daesu shook his head, looking out into the darkness. "They may never understand until it is too late. But that is our advantage. We are unpredictable and we are united. They have power, but we have determination. That is what will win this war." In the coming days, the humans executed smaller attacks across multiple Dominion-controlled systems. Each strike was carefully calculated, hitting supply lines, communication hubs, and isolated warships. They avoided unnecessary losses, focusing on weakening the Dominion's ability to respond effectively. Every action was a message. Humanity would not bow, would not hide, and would not be defeated. Meanwhile, Rock ordered more fleets to hunt the human forces. But each attempt ended in failure. Humans used the knowledge they had gained from previous skirmishes, exploiting weaknesses and using clever tactics that the Dominion had never seen. Every failed attack by the Dominion further boosted human morale, while shaking the confidence of their enemies. As the human fleet returned to base for repairs and rest, Desu addressed his crew. "We have done well, but this is only the beginning. The Dominion is strong, but it is not invincible. We have learned, we have adapted, and we have proven that humans can fight against any odds. Rest, prepare, and remember why we fight. We fight for our colonies, our families, and our future. The galaxy will remember this day." The crew nodded, tired but proud. Each person understood the importance of their role and the stakes of the war they were about to enter. They had seen the fear in the Dominion's ranks, felt the thrill of victory, and understood that their actions would shape the course of history. As the fleet settled near Mirius, repairs began, and new plans were drawn. Desu knew the next move would be more dangerous, but it was necessary. The humans had proven their strength in small battles, but now they would prepare for larger confrontations. Every ship, every soldier, every citizen had a part to play in the war to come. In the quiet moments between battles, humans shared stories of courage and loss, of hope and determination. They knew that the road ahead would be hard, that many would be tested, and that sacrifices would be made. But they also knew that they were no longer the hunted. They were hunters, and they would strike back at the galaxy's strongest empire, showing the universe that humanity's spirit could not be broken. The human fleet advanced into the Voron Nebula, a region of space known for its dense clouds of gas and hidden asteroids. It was the perfect place for a surprise attack. Desu stood on the bridge of the Iron Horizon, staring at the sensors that flickered with the faint outlines of enemy ships. This was the moment they had prepared for, a major confrontation with the Zereth Dominion. Hygiene studied the map, her finger tracing the paths of the Dominion fleet. "They expect us to follow the usual routes," she said. "We can use the asteroid field to hide and strike from the side." Desu nodded. "Prepare the fighters. Minsu, lead the attack squadron. G1, jam their sensors. Sumin, keep the fleet shielded. We must hit fast and hard." The humans moved with precision, slipping between massive asteroids, hidden from the Dominion's main forces. Minsu's fighters darted ahead, launching coordinated attacks on patrol ships. The Dominion was taken by surprise. Their massive warships fired blindly, unable to track the swift human fighters weaving through the nebula. G1 worked tirelessly, hacking into enemy communications to spread confusion. False orders reached the Dominion fleets, causing their ships to scatter and fire at each other. Sumin reinforced the fleet's shields, making sure the humans could withstand the enemy's counterattacks. Every ship, every pilot, and every crew member played their part with skill and determination. On the Dominion flagship, Admiral Rock slammed his fists on the control panel. "These humans are cleverer than I imagined. They are attacking with strategy, not brute force." Kyung-ho, his strategist, tried to calm him. "We can still regroup. They are bold, but we have numbers." Unji frowned. "Their tactics are unpredictable. We cannot anticipate their next moves. They are learning and adapting faster than we thought." The battle raged for hours. The human fleet, smaller in size, used every advantage the nebula offered. Drones disabled weapons, fighters disabled engines, and the main ships delivered crushing strikes where the enemy was weakest. Despite being outnumbered, the humans controlled the fight. Desu called over the comms. "All units, focus on the enemy capital ship. If we can take it down, the rest will retreat. Move in together. Precision and coordination are key." Minsu's squadron led the attack, weaving around energy blasts and debris. Hygiene coordinated from the bridge, giving commands that kept the enemy confused. G1 intercepted communications, sending false signals to the Dominion that their fleet was surrounded. Sumin's shields protected the Iron Horizon, allowing the main guns to fire uninterrupted. The Dominion flagship took heavy damage. Explosions rocked its hull, and the crew struggled to maintain control. Daesu knew victory was near but warned his team not to underestimate the enemy. "We finish this, but carefully. One mistake could cost us dearly." The human fleet executed the final strike. Fighters targeted critical systems, drones disabled remaining defenses, and the Iron Horizon delivered the decisive blow. The Dominion flagship erupted in a ball of fire, scattering the remaining ships. The humans had won the battle. In the aftermath, the human fleet regrouped. Casualties were minimal compared to the enemy, and morale soared. The victory proved that humans could fight the strongest empire and survive. The colonies under threat now looked to the fleet for hope and protection. Families cheered as ships passed overhead, symbols of resilience and courage. Meanwhile, Admiral Rock and his commanders faced the reality of their defeat. The loss of the flagship and scattered fleets was a significant blow. "We cannot underestimate them any longer," Kyung-ho admitted reluctantly. "They have strategy, courage, and determination we did not account for." Unji added, "We must rethink our approach. Humanity is no longer weak or scattered. They have united, adapted, and learned from every encounter." Daesu and his team did not waste the victory. They used the momentum to strengthen defenses, plan further strikes, and train new recruits. Haijin, Minsu, G1, and Sumin became leaders, guiding younger crews and teaching them the tactics that had brought them success. The human fleet grew not just in size, but in confidence and skill. As the fleet rested in the nebula, Daesu walked the observation deck alone, reflecting on the battle. The stars seemed endless, a reminder of how vast the galaxy was and how small humans had once felt. But now, humanity had proven that even the smallest could challenge the greatest. They had intelligence, creativity, and a will that no empire could easily break. Haijin joined him quietly. "Do you think this will change the Dominion's view of us?" she asked. Daesu smiled. "It already has. They thought we were weak, but now they know we are a force to be reckoned with. And this is only the beginning." Across human colonies, news of the victory spread. Civilians repaired damaged structures, helped the fleet with supplies, and prepared for the battles yet to come. Hope was no longer a distant dream, it was reality. Humanity had struck back, and the galaxy had noticed. Rock studied reports of the engagement, frustration mounting. Every attempt to crush humans had failed. They were clever, coordinated, and relentless. "We underestimated them," he admitted to his council. "This is no longer a simple rebellion or minor threat. Humanity is rising. We must prepare for a war we have not fought before." The human fleet did not wait for the Dominion to strike. Daesu ordered reconnaissance of other key Dominion supply routes, identifying weaknesses and planning future attacks. Each mission built experience, improved coordination, and strengthened the resolve of the fleet. Every successful strike was a step closer to turning the tide of the war. In the quiet moments between missions, crew members shared stories of courage and loss. They reminded each other why they fought and what they protected. Families on Earth and human colonies watched as their fleet brought hope and courage to the darkest corners of the galaxy. As they prepared for the next engagement, Daesu addressed the fleet. "We have proven ourselves in battle, but our journey is far from over. The Dominion will retaliate. We must remain vigilant, united, and clever. Every ship, every pilot, every engineer counts. Together, we will show the galaxy the true strength of humanity." The human fleet moved forward, stronger and more determined than ever. They had faced the Dominion and survived. They had won against overwhelming odds. And the galaxy would soon witness that humanity was no longer just a shadow in the stars, but a force capable of challenging the strongest empire and shaping the future of countless worlds. The human fleet approached the Dominion's inner territory, a dangerous region filled with enemy warships and heavily defended planets. Daesu stood on the bridge of the Iron Horizon, his eyes scanning the sensors and star charts. This mission was the most important yet. If humanity wanted to break the Dominion's control, they had to strike at the heart of the Empire. Hygiene pointed at the display. The capital planet, Xeric Prime, is protected by the largest fleet we've seen. But there is a gap in their defense near the asteroid belt. If we move carefully, we can infiltrate the system without detection. Daesu nodded. Prepare all teams. Min-Su, lead the fighters. G1, keep their sensors confused. Sumin, shields at maximum. We cannot afford a mistake. The fleet moved like a shadow, slipping past Dominion patrols using the asteroid belt for cover. Min-Su's fighters raced ahead, dodging energy blasts and weaving between rocks. G1's hacking disrupted enemy targeting systems, making the Dominion fire blindly. Sumin managed the fleet's shields and engines, keeping the larger ships safe as they advanced. As they entered the system, a Dominion battle group appeared, ready to intercept. Daesu took a deep breath. We must act quickly. Focus on their command ship. If we disable it, the rest will scatter. The humans attacked with precision. Fighters struck weak points, drones disabled weapons and engines, and the Iron Horizon fired its main cannons. Explosions rocked the Dominion command ship, and chaos spread through their fleet. The human fleet moved as one, each action coordinated and purposeful. On the Dominion flagship, Admiral Rock slammed his fists. How are they here? How do they fight so well? Kyung-ho, his strategist, tried to calm him. They are not just attacking. They are clever, unpredictable. This is not the same humanity we knew before. Unji added, their tactics are evolving. They learn from every encounter. We cannot underestimate them any longer. The battle intensified. The human fleet pressed their advantage, striking quickly and withdrawing before the Dominion could regroup. Min-Su led daring maneuvers, dodging enemy fire and taking out key targets. G1 continued to jam communications, keeping the Dominion confused. Sumin reinforced the shields and repaired minor damages in real time, ensuring the fleet stayed operational. Daesu focused on the command ship. He knew that if it fell, the Dominion's control would collapse. The ship was massive, heavily armed, but humans were determined. Using all the intelligence they had gathered, they identified weak points and exploited them. Precision strikes from drones and coordinated fighter attacks began to tear through the enemy ship's defenses. Finally, with a decisive strike from the Iron Horizon, the command ship erupted in fire and debris. The Dominion fleet, leaderless and disorganized, began to retreat. Humans had won the critical battle, breaking through the heart of the Empire's defenses. In the aftermath, the fleet regrouped. Casualties were minimal compared to the enemy, and morale was high. The victory was a turning point. Humanity had shown that even the strongest empire could be challenged with intelligence, coordination, and courage. Daesu gathered his team in the strategy room. This is only the beginning. The Dominion will regroup, but we have broken their command structure. We must continue to strike carefully, using what we've learned to weaken them further. Hygiene nodded. We've proven that humans can fight and win, even against overwhelming odds. Now we need to consolidate our gains and prepare for the next battles. Min-Su smiled, ready for the next challenge. We've come a long way, but we cannot slow down. Every strike counts, and every victory brings us closer to freedom. G1 added, we also need to help the colonies under Dominion control. Every liberated world strengthens humanity and spreads hope. Sumin focused on repairs and upgrades. We must keep the fleet strong. The Dominion will respond, and we need every ship ready. Meanwhile, on Xeric Prime, the Dominion leaders faced the reality of their losses. Admiral Rock's anger was matched by fear. Humanity is stronger than we imagined. We cannot control them with fear alone. We must rethink our strategy. Kyung-ho, usually confident, admitted, they have learned, adapted, and united. They fight with skill and courage we did not expect. We cannot rely on numbers alone. Unji added, we must prepare for a new kind of war. Humanity has shown that they are no longer weak or predictable. We must act carefully. Back with the humans, the fleet moved to secure nearby colonies. Civilians who had lived in fear for years now saw hope. Human ships delivered supplies, repaired defenses, and offered protection. Families smiled and cheered as they watched the fleet in the sky, proof that courage and determination could overcome even the strongest empire. Daesu stood on the observation deck of the Iron Horizon, looking at the stars. The galaxy was vast, but humanity had begun to carve its place. They had shown that even the smallest and seemingly weakest could challenge the greatest. Every crew member, pilot, engineer, and civilian had contributed to this moment. Humanity had struck back, and the Dominion would never forget. Hygiene joined him quietly. "Do you think they will ever understand us?" she asked. Daesu shook his head. "Perhaps not, but that is our strength. They cannot predict our courage, our creativity, or our will. We fight not just with weapons, but with our minds and hearts. That is what makes us human." As humans prepared for the next wave of battles, the Dominion scrambled to respond. Fleets were deployed, defenses reinforced, and spies sent to track human movements. Yet each attempt to stop them failed. Humanity had learned from every encounter and adapted faster than the Empire could predict. The human fleet continued to strike with intelligence and precision. Every mission strengthened their skills, improved coordination, and increased confidence. Every victory brought hope to colonies and fear to the Dominion. Daesu and his team remained vigilant, knowing that the coming battles would be even harder, but confident that humanity's spirit could not be broken. In quiet moments between battles, humans shared stories of bravery and loss. They reminded each other of their purpose and what they protected. Families on Earth and human colonies watched as the fleet brought hope to the darkest parts of the galaxy. The war was far from over, but humanity had proven it could fight and survive, even against the strongest empire. Daesu addressed the fleet one last time before the next mission. "We have broken their command, but the war is not finished. Stay vigilant, stay united, and remember why we fight. Every ship, every soldier, every person counts. Together, we will show the galaxy the true strength of humanity." The fleet moved forward with determination. They had faced the Dominion and survived. They had won critical battles and broken through enemy defenses. The galaxy would soon see that humanity was no longer a shadow in the stars, but a force capable of challenging the strongest empire and shaping the future of countless worlds. The final confrontation had arrived. The human fleet, now larger and more experienced than ever, approached the core of the Zereth Dominion. Daesu stood on the bridge of the Iron Horizon, looking at the star-filled void ahead. The capital of the Dominion, Zereth Prime, shone like a dark jewel, surrounded by their last and most powerful warships. Hygiene studied the holographic display. "The Dominion has concentrated its strongest fleets here, but their command is still in chaos. We can use that to our advantage," she said. Daesu nodded. "All units focus on coordination. Minsu, lead the fighter squads. G1, jam communications and confuse their targeting. Sumin, make sure shields are at maximum. This is our chance to end this war." The fleet moved with purpose, slipping between asteroid fields and energy anomalies to approach the enemy undetected. Minsu's fighters darted ahead, striking swiftly at isolated warships. G1 sent false commands through Dominion networks, creating confusion. Sumin reinforced the fleet's shields and monitored systems, keeping everyone ready for the fierce battle ahead. On Zereth Prime, Admiral Rock watched the approaching fleet with anger and fear. "They have come for the final strike," he said. Hyung-ho, his strategist, shook his head. "They are more organized and determined than ever. We underestimated them for too long." Unji added, "Humanity is no longer weak or scattered. They fight with skill, courage, and intelligence. This will not be an easy victory for us." The human fleet engaged the Dominion with a coordinated assault. Fighters and warships moved as one, exploiting weak points in the enemy lines. Drones disabled weapons and engines, allowing the humans to focus their fire on the most critical targets. The Dominion's numerical advantage was reduced by the fleet's superior tactics and speed. The battle was fierce. Explosions rocked space as warships clashed, and the void was filled with the light of energy weapons. Minsu led daring maneuvers, dodging blasts and hitting vulnerable points. G1 continued to confuse the enemy, sending false signals that caused ships to fire at each other. Sumin worked tirelessly to keep the fleet operational, repairing shields and systems in real time. Daesu focused on the Dominion Command Center, knowing that its destruction would cripple the enemy. Using information gathered from previous battles, humans identified structural weaknesses and coordinated a precise strike. Fighters, drones, and warships all converged on the target, delivering devastating blows. Finally, the Dominion Command Center erupted in fire and debris. Chaos spread through the remaining fleets. Without leadership, the Dominion forces scattered and retreated. Humanity had won the decisive battle. In the aftermath, the human fleet regrouped. Casualties were significant but manageable. Morale was high. The victory meant the end of the Zereth Dominion's control over human colonies and enslaved worlds. Humans had struck back and emerged victorious. Daesu gathered his commanders, Hygiene, Minsu, G1, and Sumin. We have done what many thought impossible. The Dominion is broken, but our work is not finished. We must help rebuild the colonies and secure peace. Humanity has shown its strength, but we must also show responsibility. Hygiene nodded. The colonies will need protection, supplies, and leadership. We must work together to restore hope and stability. Minsu smiled, relieved but proud. We have fought bravely and won. Now we must ensure that humanity and our allies remain strong. G1 added, we must also prepare for future threats. The galaxy is vast, and new dangers may arise. But today we celebrate our victory. Sumin focused on the fleet's remaining ships. We will repair, upgrade, and strengthen our defenses. We cannot let the Dominion or any other empire underestimate us again. Across human colonies, news of the victory spread quickly. Civilians celebrated, families reunited, and communities began to rebuild. The shadow of fear that had loomed for decades was finally lifted. Humans were no longer victims. They were victors, capable of defending themselves and shaping their own destiny. Admiral Rock and the remaining Dominion leaders faced the consequences of their failures. Their empire was broken, and their fleet scattered. We underestimated humans, Rock admitted bitterly. Kyung-ho nodded. They have proven that intelligence, courage, and unity can defeat even the strongest. We will remember this day. Unji added, humanity has changed the balance of power in the galaxy. They are no longer a minor species. They are a force to be respected and watched closely. Back with the humans, Daesu walked the observation deck of the Iron Horizon, looking out at the galaxy. The stars seemed brighter now, a reflection of the hope that humanity carried. Hygiene joined him quietly. Do you think the galaxy will finally see humans differently? She asked. Daesu smiled. Yes, today humanity has proven that we are strong, clever, and united. We have faced the strongest empire and emerged victorious. We are no longer just survivors, we are warriors. The fleet began its work, securing former Dominion territories, helping colonies rebuild, and protecting allies. Humans worked together with liberated species, forming new alliances and sharing knowledge. The galaxy began to recognize humanity as a major power, a force capable of defending itself and contributing to peace. As the final repairs were made to the fleet, Daesu addressed his crew. We have faced impossible odds and prevailed. We fought not only with weapons but with intelligence, courage, and unity. Humanity has shown that we will not be defeated. This is a new era, an era where humans can stand tall in the galaxy. We must continue to protect, rebuild, and grow stronger. The crew cheered, tired but proud. Every pilot, engineer, soldier, and civilian understood their role in shaping history. They had faced the galaxy's strongest empire and won. They had defended their homes, their families, and their future. In the skies above Earth and human colonies, the fleet passed, a symbol of victory and hope. Humanity had struck back, not with fear, but with determination and courage. The Dominion had fallen, and the galaxy had witnessed the rise of humans as a major power. The story of this victory would be told for generations. Children would grow up hearing of the courage of Daesu, Hyejin, Minsu, Ji-won, Sumin, and all the brave humans who fought to protect their people. The galaxy had seen the strength of humanity and knew that from this day forward, humans would never be underestimated again.